Can you all hear me? Okay, it seems that people could not hear me at the beginning. Okay, now I hope you can hear me. Let me not put it too much to my mouth. Okay. Okay, yeah. I hope you can all hear me. Okay. So I was talking about yesterday. Yesterday we learned about fractions. We also learned about you know, how to create gaps between your grid. As you can see at this browser, you can learn about how you can create gaps on your screen. If you can see this right now, yeah, how to create gaps on your screen. You can see all these things, all these spaces in between. They are gaps. And today we're going to go a little bit further into much more concepts about grid. So we'll talk about things further like grid template areas, also how to make your grid more responsive, how to centralize your grid, all the basic concepts you will need to learn grid. And at the end of the video, you'll be able to know how to make your grid responsive, which is very important. So you will know how to make your grid responsive, trust me, in a very easy way without using a media query. Okay, so let me just come here. Yeah. Okay. So first and foremost, we're going to talk about grid template areas. Now, grid template area. Now, if you have seen from this, we have been positioning our grids manually. So it's like we have been positioning our grids manually, and as much as that does something, sometimes it's good to be able to know how to position your grid without specifying the actual values. So without specifying the actual values or that you need for the grid. And so that's what I'm going to be addressing today. Without specifying the actual values, you'll be able to start your grid and be able to do things with your grid. Okay. Okay, first and foremost, I'm going to come here and I'm going to just change the grid template rows to repeat 4. To repeat now, I thought people repeat. Basically, just repeat it as many times as you want. So if I come out here and I put a bracket, you see you can put a 4, then comma, then you can put the number of times you want to repeat it. So the number of times you want to repeat it, and that can be 50 pixels. Sorry, you can put the number of times you want to repeat it. So that's 4. This is the size of what you want to repeat, and as you know, rows are in the horizontal, which is not horizontal, sorry, vertical, from top to down. And so this is just specify 100 pixels from top to down. So each row of 100 pixels from top to down. Okay, let's check the code and just see what has changed. You might not see much happening. You can see not much is happening because it's just down. But if you try to inspect the code, if I inspect the code for instance, and I go in and I try to explain the code, okay, it should be 4 major. I hope I've saved it. I don't think I've saved the code. I've not saved it. Yeah, sorry about that. If you reload it, you see that it remains the same, but it will be 4 columns. Yep, 4. Now 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. As you can see with the container, as you can see, there are 4. If you count down, as I said, vertical, you'll see 4. In the vertical. And yeah. So that is the major thing. And let me just make it. Let me make four fractions. So it's gonna be okay. Let me do 3 and 3 fractions. 3. That's 3 times repeat 100 pixels. 3 rows of 100 pixels. And let me repeat. 3 times. Sorry, I'll repeat 3 times. I'm welcoming anybody that's on my live stream right now. Thank you for joining. Please make sure to subscribe. Hit the notification bell to get more notifications about what I do, and I believe some of this live streams from time to time. And make sure to just like this video, and share it with whoever is interested in grid or interested in programming in general. I'll be interested in just giving my own side of how I teach this, so you'll be able to learn more. Okay, so 3, and I'm going to use 1FR. As I talked about, 1FR is to break your grid into several sections, but since we have 4 items, let me just break it into 4 sections. So 4 fractions. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 columns of 100 pixels. Now if you check this, so basically it does divide the length and divides into 4 and gives the particular length. So if you see right now, I didn't save it again. Sorry, I keep not saving it. So why do I keep doing that? I should even get the auto save feature probably. So let me get right here. Okay, go to the grid and then Control R, and yeah, we can see this. Now we don't need the grid gap, so I'm going to remove that for now. We don't need a gap for now. We're just going to learn, how to use grid template areas. Now, as you can see, um, for instance, if I open it right now, you can see that. Okay, I didn't save it again. Oh Lord. Okay. And if okay, we can see that we have 4 grids, so 4 columns, 4 things in a column. Let me expand this better so you can see. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and yeah, the reason why I use fractions is because it makes things more responsive. So anytime you want to use fractions, no matter how much I'm pulling the tax bar, no matter how much you minimize it, it will always be the place divided by 4. You can also make one bigger, but it's all dependent on what you want to do. You want to make this 2. Say you want to make another column of probably. Now we only have 4 columns, so don't let us do that. If you had more, sorry about that. If you had more columns, we can work on things like that. Okay, so after we have done that, we now want to start work on the grid template areas. So what I was doing was just to set up the grid. So let me just come here. You can see I've set up the grid. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 4 total elements, So yes, if you are slightly confused about what I'm doing here, you can go back to the first tutorial. I simplified it, but basically what this does is that it splits the screen on the horizontal ledge into 4 pieces, and then it gives a fraction for each column. And because we have 4 columns right here, you can see that they are split into 4 columns, and this is just 4 rows of 100 pixels tall. So height, because rows is on the down place. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to first delete this code, because now what we did last time was we were manually positioning it, so column by column and whatever. If you go to item 1, for instance, let's see, you are right now that this should be item 1. You can see this item 1 is bigger. This item 1 is bigger and all of that, and I set the background color to red. Let me just delete this. You can see that, wow, that it's actually just became bigger, and that's because we set a place that each of them should be placed, and that's why it's looking like this. But now let's say we want to automatically place it based on grid template areas. What we're going to do, we're just going to use a new property called grid template areas. Basically that's it. So let me just go back. I'm going to come to this place and I'm going to type grid template areas, and now to set out the grid template areas, I hope I'm doing it right. I'm going to put a column. So we're going to put a column. Now since we have 4 rows, let's put 2 columns. Let me make this 3 rows. I mean we can use 4 rows, but let me just make it 3 rows. I think that works. And let me just put, for instance, let me just do header. No, let me do tops. Now I'll do top. No, I'll do middle. Then middle aside. Now you have to put a different name. If you want to place 2 on the same line, you have to give it a different name. But this top means that anything that gets assigned top will fill the whole top area. I'll explain. Then I'll put bottom. Yeah, and bottom, since I want one thing to fill out this side. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now let's set. I don't think this thing commented well. Let me just fill that in by myself. Okay. Let me just do this. Sorry, do this and this. Yeah. Hope you can hear me. Okay. Let me just filter this myself and now get into setting. So how are we going to make this represent this? Now this is just kind of like representing a grid. Whatever is at top will be on top. Whatever is at middle, because see this is in the middle of the 2 texts, it will be in the middle. And whatever is at the bottom will be at the bottom. So let me just assign item 1 bottom, for instance. So to assign it a place in the grid template area, so just do grid area. And I'll just put for instance, I'll put um top. Now it's not when you're laying out a website, it's not recommended to put two use control two sides with just one div. Basically, it's not recommended to just, because item one is going to span the two tops. It's not recommended, but if you are interested in making one item span two areas on a grid, you can work on this. So let's come here, grid top. Okay, I have not saved my code. Come on, we need to learn that. Okay, if I reload it, you can see that item one should fill the top array. If I didn't do anything wrong, it should fit the top array. Let me try making item one. Okay, let me make this ones. Let me put these ones at their side. So let me just put these ones at their side. So grid area, there will be grid area middle. Then item 3 will be grid area middle aside. Grid area middle and then aside. Middle aside. I don't think it gets the middle aside. Okay, what do I do? Top one. Maybe that's how it's supposed to do. I don't know. But let me just try middle aside and then item. Okay, that's supposed to be item 3 and item 4 footer or bottom, whatever you call it. Maybe I might have to change the names. Maybe the names are too specific. Maybe they have other things. I might have to change that. But I'm not using the right names. I mean, you can name it whatever you want. There's no specific name you have to use, but let me just do a grid area then bottom. Hopefully, if it doesn't work, it means that these names might be slightly too specific. Maybe they already have like they have like a use already in for grid areas already. So maybe that might be a problem, but hopefully it doesn't. Okay, it is kind of doing the grid. Let me just see what is going on. It's likely that what's going on is that these things actually don't actually have okay, let me check this. Sorry. Okay, it seems that there's a problem. Now the problem, I think, it stems from the names. So let me just make this header instead. I want to use that at the beginning, but I just didn't use it for some reason. Header. Sorry for the ish. Middle, then middle aside. So I'll just do main, like main middle, whatever you call it, or main. Let's just call it main. Then main aside. Then I'm going to do footer or bottom, or whatever you call it, and the footer side. I think that those one worked well. Then footer. Now if I change it, let me just change fast using Control F. Change top and replace top with header. Let's just check what happens when we do that. How about I save the code? Okay, save this one right now. Okay, you can see it fills the first two columns, and then it fills the first two columns, and let's go. I think I fixed that naming issue. Why did I think that would work? Well, so I'll make item 2 main, and I'll make item 3 main aside, and then item 4 I'll make it footer. So now these things, they represent now let me get back to explaining this. These things represent a particular column. So this helps you wrap your mind around it better. Instead of using numbers, you can use this to specify. So this is 1 column, 2 columns. Basically, you doing that is saying that you want this to span 2 columns, basically. Now, since there are 4 columns in my grid, let me just make it 2 2 so that I can better visualize this. 2 2. If I go down here and I do grid area footer, it should just fully fit the grid normally. And if I check this, if I save the code, as I should, I come here and I check it, we will see that okay. Oh, there are only two, supposed to be three actually. Sorry, three down because we have one, two, three rows. Just a way of visualizing your row, and I think this is one of the methods that I like using because it really helps you visualize your rows better, basically. Okay. So you can see the first row is covering header. If you go down, you see that header. The second row is doing main aside. So this is main. So you split the row into half. This is main aside, and the last row is footer. So it covers it. Let's suppose I put footer. You see, it doesn't feel that for water. I don't know why. What is for water? I'm sorry. I don't think there's anything like for water. But okay. If I just reload this, you can see that there's a space there because we are not told footer to span different columns. This is good if you want to visualize your grid using text, and you can be as experimental as you can, but just make sure that anytime you are doing grid template areas, make sure that you have already specified the amount of grid template columns and grid template rows you have, because this will work. And if you want it to be the same, you can make it the same. So if you have two columns and one row, you just make this two columns and then one row. If you want two columns and two rows, then you do this, you bring it down, and two columns and three rows, you can do it bring it down. But if you just want it to be at a particular side of the grid, you can do as you want. So you can see that this is 2. If I made this 4, for instance, this will only fill. If I make this 4 and 4, for instance, if you check the grid, you see that this only fills the specified area. So you can see. Let me reload. See, this only fills. You can see this. Let me just check this. Let me go to my container so I can see the grid. See, this only fills the specified area. It only fills about 2 on the column as you specified for it, and only fills 3 on the row ledge. So 1, 2, 3. We go down 1, 2, 3, and so that's what you specify for it, and that's how it's going to do it. So this method is the best method for using when you want to define things, and it's just more friendly than just writing the numbers using grid row and grid start. Now the next thing we'll be looking at will now be, apart from grid template areas and placing stuff, let's now see how we can align the grid. Basically how you want to align objects, basically. So yeah, to align objects, use what I like to call justify. So basically justify, and to align your grid, you'll do justify. Then when you have done justify, what you're going to do, you're going to do justify. Probably do justify. Justify. Let me bring justify here. Justify. Then items. So let me just try to do center, for instance. Let's see what that does. Oh, sorry. I hope you can hear me. Sorry. Let me just try to do center. I hope that works. Okay. It doesn't give any single space. It just messes up. Cool. But let's open the grid to see what it does. Okay, yes, they are at the center actually. But basically what it does is that it puts it at the center, of the column as specified. But you know what, to make this better, let me just make the column, let me make these items have, let's say I make them have a width. Let me see what that does. I give this columns like an extra width. Okay, let me come right here, width, then width, and I'll do 30 pixels. Now do another width, then another 30 pixels. Let me see what that does when I do a width of that, whether it changes anything. So these ones, they become at the center of it. You know what, to make this better, let me remove this header and everything, this grid template area. Let me remove these grid template areas and just make sure I just initialize the grid, just the grid only alone. So 441 FR 4100 pixels, and let's just comment out all this code or even delete it. But if I come out here and I check this, it should all be on one line. Exactly. Now, let's now do align item center. That will change the width, I think, likely. And yes, so let me explain justify items and align items. So basically, what justify item does is that on this plane or on here, it moves it within this plane. So that's if I put there are other ways apart from center you can do at the end, but this is just all on this plane. So to move it on the, you like to call it the horizontal plane, and align items move it across the vertical lane, basically. So basically you're moving it, left or right, top or down. Basically, that's just basically it. So let me just envision this. Let's say I put align items end, for instance. It will make it smaller to fit in the center. See, it goes to the end. Goes to the end. Now, don't mind the spec. Let me give it some default height. So that's why it works better. It's because it doesn't have any default height. You just put in a small spec. So this way you can just have a little bit. These are just the background styles, things that make the box, like run. Okay, so I'll just do this. Then I'll copy this out. Okay. Bring this here. I just hope you are learning something. Okay. And yep, if you put all of it at the end, okay, I hope that works. You can see, yep, all of them are, if you open the grid, is at what's at the bottom. But as I said, align item, because align items are on what's the bottom array. So like the bottom. So you can see this is just bottom. And if I do end for, let's say I remove this and I put this one as center, and put this at end, it will move it all the way to this side, or you can say to the right side. Let's just check that. And whoa, if you check it, okay, I hope I saved the code. If I put this there and I reload, you see that it puts it at the end, but it's still at the center of the grid column. Basically, those centers between the grid column. So if you want, now I don't know what you might need this for, but if you want this to enter into the, you want this to be at the, want your grid to be, or your items to be at the center of a particular row or column, you can do this, depending on what you want, to do. But the most useful things will be your grid template areas, your grid row, your grid, your grid row and grid row start and grid row end, and your grid gap. That's what you might that's one of the things that you might use. But if you need this for anything, where you want to put something at the center of a particular column, this will always be at your beck and call. Okay, so you understand. And okay, what are the other things? We have start to be at the, for align items to be at the top. Start to be at the top for align items. Let me just reload it. Okay, I just keep on not saving. I need to go and I need to install that autosave feature, because it seems that it's not working actually. Okay, so it's at the top, but it's at the end. So it's at the top, but at the end on the horizontal side. So basically, that is it for today. About justify items and align items. But I think I still want to continue and do some things. And what I'll stop at will be how to make things responsive, and also how to move your grid. Okay. So how do you make things responsive in grid? Now let me just remove that code, and hopefully remove the width and height. I hope it goes back to normal. Let me just see this. The width and height are still small, so let me just let me just comment this out, and comment this out, and comment this out, and comment this out. Okay, let me comment this out and save. Okay, now next what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just come down here, and we're gonna make things responsive using our git template rows and our git template columns. Now for to make things responsive, we're gonna have to use fractions, because fractions are one of the things that make things more responsive, because it looks at the page and then divides the page into equal sections depending on what you want for it. So as I said, this page is now, if I reload it, it's now divided into 4 equal sections. Now what if I wanted that when we minimize it, now you can see it is going down, but it's squishing. Honestly, I don't want it to squish, because it's just squishing, and I don't want it to squish. First and foremost, I want to set something called minimax. So minimax is basically saying that, okay, this thing that you are doing, let it when you reach a particular, when it keeps going down, let it have like a baseline where it doesn't stop, it stops going down. So at 100, at let's say, for instance, once it reaches a particular place where it's going down, let it stop at 100 pixels of width. So at 100 pixels of width, it stops going down. Basically, that's what minimax does. So let me just visualize that for you. I'll just use I'll just do repeat 3131 fr and another one fr. Let me just do that. No, don't let me. I don't have to do that. Let me just do repeat 4. Then I'm going to put the minimax where the digit of one of the fractional unit should be. Minimax, so minimax, right there. So minimax. And I'm gonna come right here, and I'm gonna set this. Okay, I'm gonna set this for the minimax. Minimax. And for the minimax, what I just want to do to set is the first and the last. So let's say let me just try something. Let me try 100 pixels and 200 pixels. I don't think it's gonna work, but let me just try this out. Okay, minimax. I don't think I'm doing the I don't think I'm doing the right thing. Let me check the code. Minimax is supposed to help in resizing content, but I don't think I'm doing the right thing. Am I doing the right thing? Let me just check. Okay, yes, it has. I was looking at the color. Okay, let me do 100 pixels and 200 pixels. Let's just see. Now let me expand it. Now you can see that this is not good. This is going to keep going. Okay. Oh my god, there's a mistake. There's a mistake. This is the min. The minimum is 100 pixels, and the maximum is 200 pixels. So I think I'm doing something wrong. That is not how you're supposed to set the code. So since I'm using a fraction, let the max be one fraction, and let's make the min 100 pixels, and let's see how that works. Hopefully, I'm supposed to do it on the row. It's the row I'm doing it. Sorry about that. It's the row. Is it the row? It's the column. Okay, it's the right thing. I thought I was doing it on the row. The row is from top to down. Sometimes you have to be squeezing it upwards. So let me just check this out. I think I've missed grid template columns, grid template rows, repeat rows 4, 100 pixels, rows of 100 pixels. Let me remove this for it. Let me just remove and make this one FR and see what happens. I think they are all covering different rows. Let me check the container. So I think there's something that is wrong. Okay, repeat 4. The min max. Is it minimax or min max? Min max. Okay, it's not minimax. Why did I write minimax for no reason? No wonder it wasn't working. It wasn't doing the row because it was a minimax. I don't know why I thought it was minimax. I don't know why I thought it was a minimax. I don't know why I thought it was minimax. So now if you see that it will keep going down. Let me reload this page. I hope I've saved my code. Just hope. And now it will stop. It will stop. Now it's looking responsive and it is going with the page size. But it will stop. Doing all this responsive stuff at 100 pixels. And see it starts going in. So this is just a way of saying, okay, this is the limit at 100 pixels. It should not go any more lower. But you might wonder, okay, now you have set this code. How do you now make it responsive? Because now it's now going out of the screen, it's going out of the box, and it's not going to look good. We are laying out a real website. So what you're going to do then is you're not going to make sure it breaks down into the next column. The next row, sorry. Row is horizontal. I just keep mixing this up. Row, so it breaks down into the next row. So it just comes down. It stacks on top of each other. So how do you do that? That's what coming across your mind. Okay, how do I make that happen? That breaking down, to happen, and that's when you're going to use a new concept. And so what would I like to call that concept? Um, that concept will be it's nothing that is it's not a new function, it's not a new property. You just have to put something here. Now this your max your max so your max your mean height. They say that it shouldn't pass 100 pixels when you're going down. Just put hot auto. I think is it auto fit? Yes. And if you do that, it's supposed to break down to the next column. Yep. Okay, it's not auto fit. Is it auto? Auto or auto fit? It's one of the two. Is it that auto or auto fit? But I think it's auto fit without the dash. Actually, let me check. Is it auto fit? Auto or auto fit? Let me try auto. Auto. Let me come down here. Come down here. Come down here. Now that should okay. I think it's auto. No, it's not auto. It's probably auto fit. I'm not sure about that. Is it auto or auto fit? Auto or auto fit? Wow, is this auto fit right now? I don't I don't really know that. I'll need to find a way to look at it. Let me check the code. Likely, I don't think it's auto fit. I don't think it's auto fit. I just hope. Oh my god, I think I'm doing something wrong. Okay, let me go here. They said auto fit is not working. What am I gonna do here? Okay. Auto fit is not working. Let me just check what I'm gonna have to do. I don't think auto fit is working, but let me just check. Let's check Google. Read auto fit. Sorry about that. I think I made it. I don't. Is it auto fit?